Hey everybody. It seems like during the college semesters I'm always so busy, either doing classwork or fixing people's computers. It's funny that during the summer, at least the summer of this year, I barely got any phone calls or any computers running for service, so I was pretty bored. But yet, as soon as the college semester began, I began to get calls about computers needing repair. People start bringing their computers in for service, and you know how it goes. So I don't get the time. To make as many videos about random stuff like what's in this video. It's funny to note that I still haven't even got the chance to put my other videos together on my last parts machine video, which I'll probably do that tonight or tomorrow or sometime. Anyways, we have two more parts machines here to look at, and these are pretty interesting. The one on the left is a Dell Dimension C521. And it's funny to note that I just watched a video earlier today of Max Arcade messing with one of these, and it's not exact. I don't think it's the exact same model, but it's a very close similar one. His had a AMD Athlon 64 single core processor in it. This one has a X2. Anyways, we'll go ahead and have a look at this one first, and then we'll have a look at this one. Okay, here's a look at the back of this Dell machine, and let's look at the side panel. This one was $14.99 at the Computer Works store, so that's a pretty good deal considering what's in this machine, even if it doesn't work. So in the back we have, let's see, a good audio setup, LAN, 4 USB ports, VGA out, and a power supply, which is a proprietary design unit. I mean, it's an ATX power supply, but it has, I mean, the way it's built is proprietary to this machine. Just gonna have a look inside. And I tell you, to be honest with you, I've never really cared much for Dell's BTX platforms because of the simple fact that they run hot. They take in air from back here and blow it through here, so your CPU's heat goes into the rest of the computer. None of the capacitors that I can see in this machine are bulged. But I mean, I just don't care much for the BTX setup because of this particular thing here. And I noticed a lot of people were commenting on my previous videos about these BTX Dells, especially these slim models, where technicians would take the intake fan and actually turn it around to where it sucks air through here and out the front. And to be honest with you, that's not a bad idea, because the power supply fan and this CPU fan working together can help pull more air through here to cool the motherboard better. Anyways, let's go and have a better look at this thing. This motherboard uses an NVIDIA chipset, so it's probably a good chance that the board's bad. This thing probably overheated and would probably need to be reflowed to make it work again, which sometimes reflowed motherboards don't always work reliably. So now what I gotta do is get some memory for this thing, and let's see if it actually works or not. Well, here's something real funny. I got a closer look at this thing. I noticed this cable here goes to the front panel daughter board that would normally go installed there. Notice it's missing. So unfortunately, I can't even try this one out, because with Dell's, they have a special daughter board that has to be installed in order to try to fire the machine up. So unfortunately, I can't fire this one up. So let's just go ahead and do a teardown on it. This one has a DVD burner SATA drive. And here's that power supply. It's made by Delta, by noticing the model number DPS. It's a 280 watt power supply. It puts out 16 amps on 12 volt rail, 15 amps on the 5 volt rail, 10 amps on the 3.3 volt rail. And here's something real funny to note. Now, normally when it comes to ATX power supplies, at least modern day ones, your 5 volt standby rail puts out about between 2 amps to maybe 2.5, maybe 3 amps tops. But this one puts out 4 amps on the 5 volt standby rail. So 20 watts you can get 20 watts out of this power supply on a 5 volt rail without even being turned on. That's kind of crazy. I mean, because normally a computer doesn't need that much power, that much standby power to work. I find it a little unusual. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. And get my camera on a tripod so I can have two hands to tear this thing down. Yeah, sorry for the extreme shakiness. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this drive out. Nice SATA DVD burner. That's worth 14 bucks right there. Now let's go ahead and take this heatsink off, see what kind of CPU we have. We know it's the Athlon 64X2 socket AM2. That screw's already loose, so somebody's already been in this thing. Watch this thing not even have the CPU. It does actually. Okay, it does have the CPU. I just looked under the heatsink. I've actually bought a couple of Dells from the Google Computer Works before that, where they actually took the CPU out. I was afraid this is probably one of those machines. Get this off. I tell you, these Dells can be weird sometimes. Well, folks, I came real close to losing a nice CPU. The CPU was actually stuck to the heatsink. I've seen this happen many times, especially with coolers that you can't actually twist the heatsink to get the thermal compound broke loose. So as I tried to pull up and out, the whole CPU just popped right out of the socket. Luckily, none of these 940 pins got broke. So let's go ahead and see if I can get this CPU off of here safely. Okay, I managed to get the CPU broke loose from the heatsink. I tell you, I get a nervous wreck when that happens. Because there have been times where, in some cases with older machines, where this happened. Let's say with Pentium 4s, with socket 478 Pentium 4s, tried to break the CPU loose from the heatsink and ended up bending up some pins, ruining the processor. Alright, so I got the CPU back into the socket, and let's go ahead and see what kind of chip this is. Might be something half decent. It's an X2. This is a 4000 plus. It's an AD0 4000 IAA5DD. So not bad. I got a my TV box has a 4600 plus in it. It's a nice socket AM2 processor. We also have a nice intake fan. This is a Sanyo Sanace 92mm fan. This thing can move a whole lot of air. It's rated for 0.88 amps, if that gives you a good idea. Pretty loud when it's running wide open. I've actually worked with Sanace 80 that come out of a smaller Dell. These are good little fans to have for especially a CPU core. Other than that, this thing doesn't have really much to say. But I still think it's a good buy, considering it had a good CPU and nice fan and a nice DVD burner. Now let's go ahead and look at the HP. Okay, here's the second computer. This is an HP Pavilion A1712N, and I've already removed the cover. This machine was $24.99. And let's go ahead and have a look at it. This computer here originally had a light scribe DVD burner in it, but they took it. Computer Works decided to take that out so I could sell it separately. Has a card reader. Has some front panel audio hookups, FireWire, USB, all that kind of stuff. Their power power button, excuse me. Hard drive LED, and it comes with Windows Vista. Let's have a look inside. Spin it around, have a look at the back. So in the back here we have, you see, 2 PS2 port connections, digital audio out, VGA, Firewire, Ethernet, 4 USBs, good audio. See, our power supply in this machine is a Bestech ATX 312Z. It puts out 19 amps on the 12 volt rail, 30 amps on the 5 volt, 28 on the 3.3, 2 amps on 5 volt standby. And our motherboard is an Asus manufactured HP let's see, A8 M2N-LA. And it's funny, this is the first one I've ever seen that actually had all 4 memory slots on it. Let's see if we can get it to work. Sometimes these work, sometimes they don't. Well, it turns out this one has a bad motherboard, because I tried different memory sticks, different CPUs, to no avail. CPU barely even gets warm. So anyways, I'm about to find another motherboard for this one. But after we get the board replaced, it should be good to go. The CPU in this machine was, or is I should say, is an Athlon 64 3800 plus single core. Pretty basic. I'll probably throw that X2 in here when I replace the board. Anyways, that's a little run through of my 2 parts computer find today. Any questions or comments? Feel free to ask.